Here we go. You can begin today to live your life at a whole different level than what you've been living your life at up to now. At this other level, it's possible for you to actually experience real abiding peace, contentment, happiness, joy in a way that up to now you have not actually known. This is really possible for you. And today I'm going to share with you a simple magical phrase that consists of just 4 words. They're such simple words. I think that each of them has only one syllable. Let me make sure that's true. Yes. So just 4 words, 4 syllables, one phrase. When you use this phrase in the correct way with the right attitude, you can begin to live in this other way. It's a whole other world. It's a world that has been here all along, but you didn't know about it. You didn't recognize it because you were so busy making yourself miserable. So I'm going to share with you this simple phrase. Now, I don't want to be a tease here, but I'm going to hold off on telling you what the phrase is because I have to do this, because if I told you the phrase now, you wouldn't know what to do with it. See, if I told you the phrase now, many people, they'd say, oh, I've got it. Oh, it's not that interesting. I'm going to go somewhere else for some other entertainment. You see, that's what would happen. And then they would be robbing themselves of the opportunity of what's available. So first, we need to explore together what is the actual problem that this phrase can solve. You see, most people think that peace and happiness and contentment and joy and all these kinds of things, they think that those things are something that they will attain. They think it's something that they're going to get in the future. They think that when they do the right things, they're going to get that peace, happiness, joy, contentment, and all the rest. Okay, so they think that those things that they want will be added to them. That's what they think. And because of this misunderstanding, people are then torturing themselves, and they don't even know that this is what they're doing. They're so preoccupied trying to attain what they think that that will give them the peace, happiness, joy, and contentment that they want. So because of this misunderstanding that most people have, most people just don't understand what's really going on. And so if I was to give you this phrase without actually helping you to understand the real nature of the problem, you wouldn't know what to do with it. It wouldn't make any sense. However, once we've covered and reviewed the actual nature of the problem, and you can actually verify for yourself that that's really what's going on, then you'll be able to make use of this phrase. So I hope that makes sense. So I'd like you to be honest with yourself. It's just an invitation to be honest with yourself. Now, you don't have to tell anybody else here. Okay. You don't have to admit it to the world. You don't have to do any of that, but just for yourself, do yourself this favor and be really honest with yourself. And just notice, how well is your strategy in life really working for you? Is it giving you everything that you hoped for? Or are you actually not that satisfied with the results? Now, if you're not that satisfied with the results, then good news. Most people aren't. Now, I don't know if it's clear why that's good news, but what I mean is, haven't you noticed that you've been taking your cues from everyone else, right? I mean, everybody else was telling you how it works and how you should do things. This is how everybody goes through life, blindly following the masses without realizing that everybody else is in the same position you are. You see, nobody else has a clue. Everybody else is hurting just like you. All of the people out there, your mother, your father, your grandparents, your siblings, your neighbors, your teachers, the the priest, the pastor, the minister, the rabbi, they're all just as confused and lost and hurting as you are because everybody's been just taking their cues from everyone else about how to do this whole thing. So the fact that it hasn't been working very well for you is actually the reason why this is good news, is because finally you can start to recognize that maybe, possibly, there might be another way. But if you don't first have this realization about what's been going on, about how this came to be in the first place, and about how just totally lost and confused people are, how hurting people are, then you might well continue to make the mistake of continuing to try to do it the same way that you've been doing it, which has not worked. Now, notice, many people in society, perhaps you, perhaps people you know, they pretend to be nice, don't they? They pretend to be polite. They pretend to be caring. They pretend all of these things. Now, what happens? You just notice what happens when the conditions are not so to their liking. What happens to all of that false friendliness, contentment, happiness, pleasantness, and all the rest? It completely vanishes, doesn't it? And what comes out is a hostility. Where would that come from? That's there because these are people who are hurting. These are people who are confused. They say, within them, there's a voice that says, "Get me out of here. I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it. I can't stand the pressures, the way these people are looking at me, the sounds, and all the rest of it. I can't stand it. I need to get out of here." And pretty soon they're stampeding. You see, you've been taking your cues from people who don't have a clue. They're lost. They're hurting. They're confused. So if you're lost, hurting, and confused, then it's to be expected. You see, you got your information from lost, confused, and hurting people. If you keep believing the lies that that is somehow going to work, then you're going to continue to be in the same position, still hurting, still lost, and still confused, not knowing what's really going on, not understanding. So the first most important thing to understand is that you're hurting. Now, you may not be feeling it so severely just now, but you know that there are things that could happen and then you would feel it, wouldn't you? If certain people did certain things or said certain things or looked at you a certain way, if things were not going your way, if you didn't have the money, if you didn't have the looks, if you didn't have the car, if you didn't have the abilities, if you didn't have the false securities and all the rest of it, there are certain conditions in which you would be very much aware of that hurting. And then you would become also very much aware of just how confused you are because you wouldn't know what to do. You'd be hurting, but you wouldn't know what to do. You'd be lost, just like everybody else. So that's the first thing, to understand that you are hurting. The second thing is to understand the severity of it. See, if you think, oh, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's okay, it's manageable, then you can't make use of what it is that I'm going to share with you. You can't actually enter into that new way of life because you'll be clinging to the old way of life. It's sort of like the business about the kingdom of heaven being like a camel trying to pass through the eye of a needle. If you want to enter into the new way of life, you have to be willing to let go of the old way. But most people are not willing to let go of the old way because they haven't yet seen and recognized the severity of the hurting. They think it's manageable. They think that on the other side of their strategy, someday it's going to be effective, and then they'll get to the happiness, peace, contentment, all the rest of it. Because they think that all of these things will be added to them. They think that if they can just convince enough people, if they can just delude enough people into believing that they are somehow important or successful, then they'll get those things that they want. Now, first of all, that's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. I mean, just take a look. How many of the rich celebrities seem to be totally happy? And you can say none, because that would be the correct answer. If it worked the way that you were told that it worked, if life worked the way that you'd been told, then all those people would be so happy. They'd have it all figured out, but they don't, because the whole thing was a lie. Everything that you've been told about how life works and where happiness is and how to get it and all the rest, it's all been a lie. And the severity of this is very, very great, you see, because every day that you allow for the old lies to continue to dominate your life is just another day wasted. But it's worse than that, because it's yet another day in which you have further invested in those lies. You've further invested in what further enhances and generates the pain, you see. So every day that you postpone recognizing the severity and making a change, committing to the change, is a day in which you actually are making things that much worse for yourself. I mean, just think about it. Think about, what would it be like 10 years from now if you found yourself, nothing fundamentally had changed inside of you? What would that be like? Think about it. If you still reacted in the same ways, not externally, I'm not saying that because I know you've probably got that mostly buttoned up and under control, but I'm talking about internally. Can you recognize how internally there's reaction to everything? Oh no, what are they thinking of me? Oh no, what if they find out that I'm a fraud? Oh no, what if this happens? Oh, what if I run out of money? Oh, there's all this reaction going on inside, constant reaction, self-inflicted pain. What if 10 years had gone by and nothing had fundamentally changed? What if you were still doing that to yourself? What if 20 years had gone by and you were still doing that to yourself? What if 30 years had gone by and you were still doing that to yourself? Can you start to recognize how awful that would be? You see, you live currently on the hope that it's going to get better in the future. And in this way, you can continue to postpone making the change because it will get better in the future. It can't always be this bad. In the future, something will change. Something external will change. I'll suddenly get the good looks, or I'll get the money, or I'll get the house, or I'll get the spouse, or I'll get the whatever it is, and then I'll be happy. Something external will change, and then I'll be happy. So the hope is always there. Something external will change, and then I'll be happy. It doesn't work that way. Something external changing does not give you happiness. It will never be like that. It will never, ever, ever happen. So as long as you continue to postpone, you are just compounding the problem. As much as you hurt now, you can hurt 10 times as much, 100 times as much, 1,000 times as much. And if you say that's not possible, I say, well, you just wait and see. But I hope for you that you don't, you see, because if you want real change, it's possible, but the change, it has to happen in you. You have to change. You have to be willing to change. And I'm pointing out that the problem is very severe. I mean, hold on, before I go on to the what this phrase is, I just want to make sure this is clear. Think about how this affects all areas of your life. Think about how it affects your relationships with other people. I mean, when you get angry, how does that affect your relationships with other people? They give you a look and you get angry. They say something and you get angry. What about how you want to hide from people? You want to hide. You don't want them to see you. You don't want them to know about whatever it is you don't want them to know about. You don't want them to know about the way you look, or the way that you smell, or the way that you behave, whatever it is that you don't want them to know about. That's that thing that you desperately want to hide from them. Think about how that affects your relationships with other humans. And it might actually require some real honest self-reflection to even discover that, because a lot of this has been going on for so long. It's so second nature, you don't even think about it. But if you were to think about it, if you were to think about it now, you'd realize how big of an impact it has, how much of your energy goes to it, how many things you avoid, the ways in which the efforts that you make to hide. This, whatever it is, the special makeup, the special clothing, the special body care products, the special whatever, we've all got it. Everybody. If you think you're the only one, think again. I promise you, everyone, every single person here, because everybody on the planet has this. Everybody's got stuff. The self-torment is optional. But just first notice how it is affecting your whole life. Notice then, how does this affect your finances? Some of you say, couldn't even begin to dream of working a job because of these various reasons. And some of you say, well, I could only work a very special job. And some of you say, whatever your things are, okay, but just think about how it's affecting. So for others, maybe you're an entrepreneur and your entire your income depends upon you actually showing up because nobody else is going to do it. You have to do it. And you just notice how many hours, how many days every week are consumed by these negative states, thinking about, oh, what, that so and so shouldn't have done such and such. They should have treated me differently. I can't believe what's wrong with life, what's wrong with me. All of these various things. How much of your energy and time is being consumed by all of this? When you really are honest, I emphasize that because you you have to actually be willing to consider it sincerely. You'll start to realize this is having a very severe negative impact on every area of your life, on your health, finances, relationships, every area of your life. Now, the very good news, very good news, is that it's totally optional. It's just that nobody told you because nobody knew. I know it might seem crazy, but if you just start to pay attention, you'll realize it's true. I know it's hard to believe that the world could really be so insane, but it really is. It's just like the emperor's new clothes. You know that story, right? The emperor's new clothes. I mean, how could the masses be so deceived and deluded and crazy and insane? Because that's just how the world is. That's just how the world is. People don't actually, I'm, I want to say think for themselves, but it's much deeper than that. People are completely asleep. They're not even beginning, they're not thinking at all. They're being thought by by forces that don't have their best interests at heart whatsoever. So if you want to actually live life in a new way, which is possible, the it's necessary to really accept that it is true. This world is insane. Because otherwise, you think, how could it be? All these nice people, they couldn't possibly be insane. Oh, but they are. They are. Just tell the truth about it. You just look and observe, and you'll see it's true. It's necessary because otherwise, you'll just keep lulling yourself back asleep. You'll just keep saying, it's not that bad. And anyway, something will happen, something will change. My fortunes will come to me, and then I'll be happy, and then I'll be free, and then I'll be okay. It doesn't work that way. It's a fundamental misunderstanding. If you want change, you have to change. And it's necessary to recognize that the world is insane. So stop taking your cues from the world. Because if you think, oh, look at that, look at that social media influencer. Oh, they seem so happy. I'll just take my cues from them. I promise you, somewhere down the line, whether it's a week from now or a year from now, or God forbid, 10 years from now, you will find out from your own experience that you were completely mistaken about that. So instead of looking out there for your salvation, you can, and this is such good news, you can look within yourself. The answers are there. And I'm going to share with you this phrase now. It's a magical phrase, 4 simple words. In fact, it's only 3 words because one of the words is repeated. Okay, you ready? Is it worth it? Now I have to decode it for you because you don't know what it means yet. But I promise you, when you understand this, you're going to be very happy. Okay, you ready? So let's explore what this phrase, how you can apply this phrase. So I want you to think right now about something that bothers you a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Something maybe you've been thinking about recently. It's been bothering you a little bit. Okay. Now, ask yourself this question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to use my energy and time on this? Is it worth it? You see, what has to happen when you ask that question, if you ask it sincerely, you have to actually notice what you're doing, what you didn't notice before, because you just didn't notice it. But notice when you're thinking about this thing, what are you doing? You're playing it out over and over and over in this hurtful way. You're just hurting yourself over and over and over. You just keep hurting yourself. Isn't it true? Oh, I'm not going to have enough money. Oh, I hurt. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, they're going to laugh at me. Oh, they'll make fun of me. Oh, nobody will love me. And you're just hurting yourself. And you don't have any intention of doing anything other than that. I mean, maybe the 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 bigger intention, I mean, to be fair, is you want to solve the problem, right? You imagine there's a problem, you want to solve the problem, and then finally you could be at peace. But the problem, here's the thing is, 99 times out of 100, the problem is not a real problem, not a solvable problem at that level. And all you're doing is just hurting yourself. So when you ask yourself this question, is it worth it? If you determine that it's not actually worth it, by worth it, what I mean is, what do you stand to gain by continuing with this? If you just keep doing this, what are you going to gain? The only thing you could possibly gain, now pay attention to this because this is really important. The only thing you stand to gain is to resolve the problem. And what will that give you? It will give you the peace of not having the problem. Well, you could start right now by just not having a problem. You see, you don't need to solve the problem to get the peace of not having the problem. You could just not have a problem now. That's the magic of this phrase. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth the self-torture and self-torment just to get to this future state, maybe, of not having a problem, when Instead, I could just go directly to not having a problem right now. I, I can't tell you the answer in every case, but I would be willing to bet 99 times out of 100, the answer to that is no, it ain't worth it. So great, drop it. Have peace now. 99 times out of 100, if test it out, keep notes, test it out, and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay? Please test it out and tell me if I'm wrong in my estimation. 99 times out of 100, the answer is it's not worth it. I could just drop it and have no problem now. I could just have peace now. I could just have contentment now. I don't need to invent this problem just to solve this problem. Now, let's go over a couple of other scenarios in which this might be useful. Let's say that a particular person, and you know who that person is, says that thing to you that usually you get upset about. They say it in that particular way, particular tone, and you get upset. You know that one? Maybe you got a couple of them. But most of us have at least one special person who can do that for us. Are you already asking the question? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I mean, how many times have you gotten upset when this person says this thing or does this thing? How many times? Thousands? Tens of thousands? A lot of times. You got a lot of experience to draw upon. So just answer this question honestly. Is it worth it? Is it worth the self torture? Is it worth the self harm? Stressing yourself out, getting all self-righteous. How dare they talk to me that way? Don't they know I'm a very special person? Don't they know I've how dare they ask that of me? They demand that I do or be anything other than exactly how I am. Don't they know about how difficult and trying my life is? You know, you go into the whole sob story and you're just all stressed out, tormenting yourself. Is it worth it? It's not worth it, is it? You could just drop it. Wouldn't that be nicer? You could just drop it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, wait, no, it can't be that easy. You say, can't be that easy. There's some catch here. I mean, surely if I've been doing this for all these years, there must be a good reason for it. If I've been getting all upset and worked up for all these years, I mean, there must be a good reason. Nature has intended for me to do this. God wants me to do it. That's why. No, no, no. Take a look. That's what the world taught you. It's what the world taught you. It's what other people taught you. It's what your mom taught you. It's what your dad taught you. It's what your teachers taught you. It's what you learned on TV. Isn't it? That's where you got it. God didn't tell you to do that. It was other people. Other people who have been hurting themselves in exactly the same way. And they didn't know there was any other option. They had no clue. If they had had a clue, well, first of all, they would have crucified the guy who gave them that clue and tried to shove it all under the rug. But if they really had let it in, if they had really let it in, then they would have been really happy and they would have changed within themselves. And then there might be something different happening, right? Like maybe then there would be enough people who would have that knowledge. They might actually start to automatically that they would share that with others and others would realize, wow, this is so much nicer. But as it has been, almost nobody knows. So everybody's teaching everybody else how to do it the old way, which is self-torture. And there's always a promise of something, but you never actually get what's promised. Isn't that true? The promise is, in the self-righteousness, I'll show them, and then everybody will respect me, and then I'll feel great. And it's not like that at all. If you put your foot down and you try to make them respect you, boy, oh boy, they're not gonna like that at all. And then you're not gonna feel very good. See, it was just a mistake. It was a mistake all along. And it's possible to correct that with this. I told you, it's a magical phrase. I did not deceive you in the least. I promise this is an absolutely magical phrase. Is it worth it? Like I said, though, you have to apply it. And you have to persist with it because at first it might seem awkward. You might seem awkward. You might say, well, where's the magic? I'm not quite sure where the magic is. Instead, you might just be feeling some discomfort. Well, okay. That's a good, that's okay. That you're doing it correctly then. Because you're actually starting to notice. That's the key. You're starting to be aware. You can be aware of what you've been doing that's been producing the harm, what's been producing the pain. You you have this welling up of this reaction, and then you're trying to, at the same time, you're not sure, do I like indulge this by shouting out, or do I suppress it because I don't want to, I don't want bad things to happen to me. Because maybe when you were a kid, you expressed it, and mommy and daddy, they like, spanked you, or they shouted at you, or they gave you a timeout, or whatever they did. And all of it, you know, never, don't take parenting advice from me, but I'll just say, the idea that like a timeout is somehow a superior solution is to fundamentally misunderstand. It's to fundamentally misunderstand. I'm not suggesting spanking. I'm just saying that if you just substitute one thing for the other, you can't really expect something to change. If you want change, you have to change. When parents change, then things change. So we all were taught, don't act it out, don't indulge it. And then we looked around and we said, well, gee, what do I do? And what everybody else was showing us was suppress it. So these were the two things that we learned: indulge and suppress, indulge and suppress. Indulgence seems to get us more immediate negative feedback, right? I mean, when when you indulge, when you shout and scream and kick and break and smash things, usually that gets very immediate negative feedback. Whereas suppression is not so immediate and not so acute, right? We get with the feedback, it's we tend to get, the immediate feedback is like, good boy, good girl for not smashing things, for being quiet, for leaving mommy and daddy alone, for sitting at your desk and not interrupting teacher. So the the question though is, so normally what happens is we deal with these things. Now it's this suppressed internal thing. and it can go nowhere. At least if you smash stuff, and I'm not advocating it, but at least if you smash stuff, then there's a kind of finality of sorts to it. Something's been smashed. But when it's internal, when it's this suppressed thing that's just going round and round, it's just this endless self-harm. Who are they to think of this way about me? They shouldn't do it. And it just goes on and on and on. And there's no resolution. It's just self-harm, endless self-harm. The question, is it worth it? It never occurred to hardly anybody that we could actually choose. You don't have to be a victim of that old programming. You could choose something different. Is it worth it? See, now, like I said, at first it seems awkward and uncomfortable because you don't know any other way. You just say, well, what do you mean now? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I mean, I have to do something. I got to do something. I can't not do this. I can't, I mean, it's either smash stuff or do this. So I guess I got to do this because I don't want to smash stuff. Because if I smash stuff, then I'll get in trouble. So I got to do this. I just got to keep endlessly tormenting myself. Is it worth it? When you can recognize it and not worth it, then suddenly you're inviting yourself to something new. You see how that works? You're inviting yourself to something new. Now, at first you say, I don't know what this something new is, but you do. You just haven't recognized it yet. You see, this something else is to just drop it, to drop it, to choose to drop it because you are recognizing that it's not worth it. It's not important. I mean, you only need to do all of this if it's worth it, right? If it was worth it, then fine. If it was really, really important, if it was worth it, then great, do something, smash something. I don't know, yell. But if it's not worth it, I mean, think of something that's absolutely not at all important, and you recognize that it's not at all important to you. It's just completely not important to you at all. Now ask yourself about that. Is it worth it? It's easy, isn't it? It's not worth it. It's not worth giving any time or thought to whatsoever. You immediately drop it, and what's here when you immediately drop it? Most people can't recognize it because they move on to the next problem too fast. But before you move on to the next problem, see, most people are very uncomfortable with what's here because they're so accustomed to making themselves miserable. This is the biggest challenge at this point is to be willing to trust in the process. See, the invitation is made, but very few will accept it because most people they say, "Oh, no, 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 there's nothing good there. Nothing good at all." Now think about this for a second. What could it possibly be that's here when you're not busy, when you're not occupied with all of your thoughts? It would have to be you, wouldn't it? In the absence of any thoughts or particular emotions or anything, I mean, wouldn't it have to be you that's here? Wouldn't wouldn't be somebody else, would it? I mean, it would be you. And what is the nature of this self that's here in the absence of any other activity? Somebody says peace. I agree with you. I'll open the chat in case other people have anything to chime in. Can you notice that? Can you notice that just before the next thought, in just this interval, however small it might be, before the next thought, when you really recognize it, isn't it like you don't even want the next thought to arise because it's so nice. It's so complete. If that's not clear to you yet, then that's okay. It can become more clear to you as you continue to explore it. You have to be willing to give yourself the opportunity, though. And most people are so busy with the self-torment and they call it living, don't they? They call that living. That's what their life consists of, is just all of this self-torment. Why can't I have success? Why don't I have the Instagram followers? Why do I have this birthmark? Why was I born this way? Why do people speak to me this way? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? And then on and on. People call this life. This is what their life consists of, and they don't even pause for half a second to notice what is their actual nature. I mean, it doesn't even occur to them that there might be something other than that self-torment. And what might that be? It would have to be what would be here in the absence of the self-torment. But most people don't give themselves even a moment of that. They don't actually notice it. The only time they would notice it is after they've achieved something. Think about this. You want something, you achieve that thing, and what do you get? You get a brief moment, a brief moment in which you would say, ah, there's contentment, there's happiness. How long does that last? Not very long, because you're on to the next problem straight away. But notice, was it the attainment of the thing that produced that happiness? Did the thing itself produce that happiness? It didn't. It was only because for a brief moment you were not occupied with the problem. You were not occupied for that brief moment. In that brief moment, there was only you. You see, you were not occupied. There was just you. And your nature is that contentment. But most people don't recognize this, so they're constantly going from one problem to the next, one misery to the next, all day long. When you ask yourself this question, is it worth it? You give yourself the invitation to just drop it. And in dropping it, what's here is that same self, same contentment that's experienced in that interval after the attainment of something. Same. It's you. Same contentment. And you can have it just by dropping everything. You don't have to strive to attain something to get it. I'm not telling you to not achieve things. I'm just pointing out that what it is you really want, that peace and contentment, is inherent in you. It's not something that's added to you. And so it's possible for you to discover that and gift yourself that in any moment with this simple phrase, is it worth it? You just notice where your attention is, what you're doing to yourself, how you've got yourself all twisted up and tied up in knots and all tense and frustrated. And you could just ask yourself, is it worth it? Maybe one time out of 100, probably not even. Probably far less. You might decide, you know what, actually it's worth it. Fine. But notice most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it's not worth it, which means you can then offer yourself this invitation simply to drop it and just to be as you are, which is already peace and contentment and happiness. It's what you really want. And it's already what you are, and it's available here now, and you don't have to go anywhere for it, and you don't have to do anything for it. Just stop the self-torment. And in order to stop the self-torment, you first have to be willing to recognize it for what it is. You have to become aware in the moment that you're doing it, and then be willing just to drop it. And the more that you explore this, the more familiar it will become, the more that you can trust in it. At first, you might say, oh, I don't know. I don't know about how much I can trust this. Okay, that's fine. So maybe your answer at first to is it worth it? Maybe you say, yeah, I think it's worth it. Maybe you decide, even if it's even if the ratio is completely inverted, even if it's 99 times out of 100, you decide it's worth it, at least that one time, you could save yourself the self-torment and you could discover something very wonderful about yourself. You could discover something very wonderful about life, you see, because so much of the time, so much of this self-torment is it's it compounds because then it feeds into this delusion where we say, oh, I am this separate thing living in this objective universe of all these things, and it's a hostile universe, and I have to be afraid, and I have to be on guard. And what's possible through this is to discover that maybe that was wrong. Because through your direct experience repeatedly, you get to encounter that it's possible for you to let go of what you perceived as a problem because you can determine that it just wasn't worth it. And in that letting go, at least for a moment, it doesn't have to be sustained, but for at least just a moment, there can be this glimpse of this peace, freedom, contentment, happiness that's here without you having to strive to do anything to have it. It's not even something you have, it's what you are. And the more that you encounter this, the more it will embolden you to really honestly inquire in this way, is it worth it? And so you'll more often discover that, yeah, it's not worth it. Because all I'm wanting to achieve in the first place is this peace, happiness, contentment. And I had been thinking that it was barred from me in some way, that I had to overcome these things. I had to defeat this person or these people, or I had to overcome these circumstances. I had to achieve these certain material possessions in order to have this peace, this contentment, this fulfillment. But come to find out, it's not necessary at all. That I was just getting myself all worked up and angry and irritated and disappointed and fearful. It wasn't necessary because I can actually just go directly for what it is that I want, which is already available. Again, I'm not suggesting that this means that nothing is ever worth it, although that might be true, but certainly it's not a belief that I'm asking anybody to take on. I'm just offering an invitation to inquire. You can use this question to help yourself to discover greater freedom. The freedom is however however much freedom you think is possible, I assure you there's even more freedom than that. And and it's a million times, a billion times more wonderful than you think. So you can just continue to explore that and continue and continue and continue, and it becomes more and more lovely. So that is the I believe, very cheerful message that I wanted to share with you today. For those who are here live, if you have questions about this, then I'll be happy to address them in the group coaching that follows. For those who will be watching this on YouTube, I'll just say a few words in parting. If you have not yet done so, I encourage you to go to my website, joeylott.com. I'll leave the link in the description below, and there you can sign up to receive the free ebook that I offer, which covers 5 of the fundamental laws that govern creation. And when you read that, it is a short yet valuable read. It will help you to experience more empowerment in your life by better understanding how your experience is actually structured. So I think that you will find that that really helps you to have more empowerment and peace in your life. So I encourage you to check that out. That's at joeylott.com. And I think that's all I'm going to say. So one more thing I'll say in parting to people who watch this on YouTube is blessings to you and bye for now.